Hi everyone, welcome to Miss Adams Teaches Poetry. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at William Wordsworth, extract from the Prelude. It's taken from the Conflict series of the edXL anthology. Now, this video is just going to take you through the content of the poem, so what it's all about, some details about the context, so William Wordsworth's life and what influenced him, and also I'm going to take you through the form of the poem and the impact of the form as well. There is another video coming your way with 5 key quotations fully explored and analysed, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But for now, let's get started. Okay, so what is this poem all about? In this extract from the Prelude, the young narrator, Wordsworth, it's sort of autobiographical exploration of his childhood, goes down to a little wooded area and he takes a boat out onto the water. And when he takes a boat out, he's feeling very good. He's feeling very good about it. He's confident and, like he's in control of the boat. And as he keeps going, eventually what he thinks he's aiming for, so he's seen this sort of craggy ridge and that's what he thinks he's aiming for. But actually, as he gets closer to it, a huge kind of like mountain range appears from behind that, and it frightens him. And so he starts sort of like paddling away as quickly as he can, but he has a feeling like almost like it's chasing him. And so he goes back to where he started off his journey, ties back the boat, and then goes back home. But sat in his mind is this kind of darker, kind of slightly disturbed feeling. And really what we're dealing with is that very kind of traditional message about nature and man, and how nature is ultimately more powerful than man and man-made structures like boats, for example. And this fits rather well with our context, doesn't it? Because, as we know, William Wordsworth is one of the most famous romantic poets of the time. So he was around from 1770 to 1850. And he started writing this in 1798, so when he was 28 years old. And as you already know, we're dealing with an extract. It's an extract from an epic poem. It's absolutely enormous. And this one comes from book 1 of 14 books, and it's called Introduction and Childhood, as you can tell. Now, interestingly, what he actually created here, what we know as the Prelude, was meant to actually be just the kind of the starting point for an even bigger poem called The Recluse. And this is it. He never finished it. And he was very, very gutted about the fact that he never finished it, because he was really influenced by chaps like John Milton, who wrote Paradise Lost, big epic poems, and he wanted to do his own. What else do we need to know? So he's born in Lake District, and that's where this poem is set, in the Lake District. And actually, he used to go to this sort of area as a way of kind of making himself feel better. He had a very kind of troubled childhood, difficult relationship with his parents. Then his parents both died. I think it was before he was 12 years old. And then he just basically got sent from one family member to the other, staying with aunties and whatever. And it was quite hard going. And so he used to go down to the lakes and kind of take solace in it, which is, as we know, a very romantic thing to do, because, as we know, romantic poets were very anti-industry, okay, because obviously they're living through the Industrial Revolution, and they celebrate not just the beauty of nature, but the power of nature as well, like this idea called the sublime. And that's what we can see in this poem. Okay, so as I've already mentioned before, this is an extract from an epic poem. So that's one of the reasons why it feels like this just like great big chunk. Do you know what I mean? Like, because it's only just a teeny tiny section. You can also refer to it as a narrative poem because it very clearly tells you a story. Now, in terms of rhythm and rhyme, Wordsworth has written this poem in blank verse. So blank verse is when you're using iambic pentameter, so 10-ish syllables, with a stress on every second syllable, da-dum, 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 da-dum. But what makes it blank verse as well is the fact that it's unrhyming, Okay, so it's the same meter that Shakespeare uses for the majority of his characters, unrhyming iambic pentameter. And it's meant to feel like a heartbeat. So there's something quite like dignified about using this iambic pentameter. And I think that you can certainly say that the sort of solemnity of the poem, the dignity of the poem is represented in that form. But you can also look at the way that he uses enjambment quite a lot throughout the poem. And I think you could relate this to the idea that he feels so sort of like excited and, and overwhelmed. So all of the ideas come kind of like crashing out across the lines using enjambment. That's it from me. Hopefully that was helpful. There is a video coming your way with 5 key quotes. I'm going to try and keep it brief, but it's such a big poem, there's so much to say, but I'll do my best. If you're finding these useful, do subscribe and please do share the videos with your friends as well. Sharing's caring and all of that. We're all heading for the same goals of our GCSEs. Anyway, that's it from me. Thank you so much and happy revising.